Council, actually. God damn, dude. White people are so fucking fragile every time. Okay. Especially because, like, none of this is even remotely related to why Russia is still very much at fault for invading Ukraine. Okay? And I'm not spewing random facts. You're the one who brought it up. Anyway, regardless. Okay, so some good news, bad news. Okay? Good news, bad news time. Good news. Good news. Ukraine is ready to hold peace talks with Russia. Okay, as a scramble for the second largest city is still ongoing. There is an envoy from the Russian side that has already been sent into Minsk. Minsk is being considered neutral ground, neutral territory. Now, I don't know how fucking neutral Belarus is when Belarus is being utilized as a launching platform to go into Ukraine. And also, notoriously, Belarus is 1,000,000%, an ally, a vassal state to Russia. But that's where prior
3 months, baby.
neutralization agreements or prior ceasefire agreements in the form of Minsk have Minsk and Minsk II have been held. So that's what they're going to be doing. Russia and Ukraine are accusing each other of using white phosphorus, and there's reason to believe both are correct. What the fuck? I did not see that part. Holy shit. That is not good. But yeah, they are going to meet on the Belarusian-Polish border, apparently. Okay, that's good. That's good. Not at Minsk. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. Anyway, regardless. So that's the good news, okay? Because that is the one way to get out of this situation. Perhaps the only way to get out of the situation. But I will talk about the numerous different opportunities. I will talk about the different... That was me that sent you the finished stuff. It was the video you made that made... Oh, that's it. Artex damage. That was me that sent you the finished stuff. It was the video you made that sent me there. Always appreciate it, my dude. Yeah, I literally have a fucking long-term community member who used to be a fan of mine even back in TYT that literally uprooted his life and moved to Finland because of a video that I made about Finland. Anyway, it's totally random, but regardless. So... there's a lot to talk about with respect to what has happened over the past week, okay? There's a lot to talk about with respect to what has happened in Ukraine over the past week. But the good news, bad news is, good news is, like I said, peace talks. They're moving towards peace talks, potentially. Zelensky has agreed. America has said no before, which is, of course, the main entity here that matters. I'm sorry. Zelensky's point of view is completely irrelevant in this conversation. If America decides, no, we don't want the peace talks to continue. So we'll see what happens there. But there's also obviously reasonable fear from Zelensky's side that they might get fucking assassinated, just like there is reasonable fear on Putin's side that Putin might get assassinated or some shit. Obviously, the Zelensky fears are a little bit more significant, even though it's being held at the border, apparently. So, what is this? Is the video about you sending chuds in the chat? Hasanabi wants to... What is this, bro? I'm not watching this. Wait, is this old news? They said no already? Oh, Zelensky's not going, but a delegation is. Okay, that's good. I've tried to listen to you for a few days and come to the conclusion that you're an awful person. You're an autistic narcissist. Okay, GigaChat Thanos. Thank you for that take. That seems like pretty good criticism. I will take that to heart. Okay. I have some of the absolute worst people on the planet in here and some of the best people on the planet in this community as the community has grown over the past week or so. Anyway, most normal hate watcher, exactly. Oof. Okay, so Here, I'll show you what I mean when I said America had previously said no to the peace conversations. They used the bombing and shelling as a reason as to why you can't have peaceful negotiations, or you can't have a ceasefire. You can't even come to the table to agree with a ceasefire without like a ceasefire actually happening. So that's what they said. Blood Match, thank you for the 10 gifted subs.
Thank you, Hassan, for being here talking about the situation, but also making me think about something
Putin's reps in the presser didn't say they wouldn't kill Zelensky. Yeah. Yeah, obviously, dude. Why the fuck would they say that? Listen, we promise, okay? We pinky promise we will not be killing Zelensky. No, no. Listen, we will never kill Zelensky. You are crazy.
Love you, hasn't chat hassle.
By the way, here's the reality of the situation. If Zelensky died, this would be the worst possible outcome. It would be the worst possible outcome for Ukraine. It would be the worst possible outcome for Russia. It would be the worst fucking possible outcome. Instant martyr, like a fucking 50-year insurgency incoming, okay? If Putin died, the war would end. I do legitimately 1000% believe that, okay? So there is that.
Let's go, peace.
100%. Like, Putin dies, war ends, invasion ends, Russia is a crippled superpower. One of the other fucking oligarchs takes over, is like probably like a huge America simp immediately. But as far as Zelensky's death, it would be catastrophic, like actually so catastrophic. So if you want this war to fucking continue, you want Zelensky to die, okay? Straight up. Especially because here are a couple things that have happened thus far. No matter what you do when you are invading a country, there is going to be civilian casualties. There are many different layers of civilian casualties, or many different ways of invading a country. If we put like Dresden, or if we put like fucking Iraq, shock and awe, okay, at like a higher level, or Hiroshima being like the highest level, okay, Hiroshima and Nagasaki had the highest level, Dresden, and then you have like Operation Iraqi Freedom, shock and awe campain, like a little bit lower. Russia's invasion of Ukraine thus far has been still, of course, killed a fuckload of civilians, and bombs are still hitting certain residential buildings and whatnot, but it's very limited in comparison to those other instances. And the reason why I'm saying that is not to run defense for Russia. The reason why I'm mentioning this is because things could get much, much fucking worse. It's tame in comparison, and that's why civilian casualties are relatively limited, okay? But the only reason why I'm mentioning that again is because it has room to get much, much, much worse. Does that make sense? Do you understand? And my fears are that coming on Monday, when the fucking ruble dips, when the ruble dips completely, and Putin's forces are met with attrition. They're having a hard time. Having a hard time resupplying. They're having a hard time overtaking Ukraine. Ukrainian jets are still fucking flying, which is like, a big misstep, a big tactical misstep on behalf of Vladimir Putin. So much so that I think, like, obviously overtaking an entire country with 44 million people is always going to take a long, long fucking time. But given the Russian army's striking capabilities and overwhelming firepower, a lot of people thought that they would at least move on to Kyiv pretty fast. So I have reason to believe that that is part of the reason why they're being more tame. They're not doing like a full scale, dumb missile strikes everywhere, indiscriminately bombing shit. but I do worry that
Hassle.
they might start if some kind of ceasefire is not met immediately. So there's still a long ways to go if they do not, if this does not stop. So a lot of people who say like, oh, Russia is losing, like Ukraine is winning, Ukraine is winning. Ukraine is doing a really fucking good job defending itself, much better than people thought it would. So shouts out to the fucking NATO firepower. I mean, goddamn, those javelins, they do work. Those fucking anti-tank missiles, they do work. You know, they straight up, they've gotten a lot of fucking training and they've gotten a fuckload of guns. And you know, they're doing a much better job of pushing back against Russia and not even allowing Russia to command their airspace in its entirety than I'm pretty sure the Russian military suspected. So that's a tactical misstep on behalf of the Russian forces, and that is attributed directly to what Ukraine has been able to accomplish in terms of defense. But that doesn't mean this fucking war is over, and I do fear a little bit that everyone's saying like, oh, dude, Ukraine is winning. Like, what if they fucking destroy Russia and, you know, cripple Russia in its entirety? I think those people are a little bit too fucking hopeful and a little bit too excited, and they're eating up the propaganda a little bit. Like, I don't think the 3,500 Russian military members have died so far. Those estimations are always going to be wrong in war, but I don't believe that those estimations are even in any way, shape, or form remotely correct. I think hope is good in a situation like this. It galvanizes the defense against. It galvanizes the defense against this oppressive, invasive, imperialist force. But I don't think Russia said 4,300. 4,300 people have died. That's fucking insane. They did. They already confirmed it. Holy fuck. That's insane. That makes me even, oh no, that is incredibly, incredibly scary. Incredibly fucking scary to consider. The conscripts that are dying as cannon fodder is one thing, right? Because they're like 18-year-old kids. No, this is the Ukrainian Defense Ministry's estimations is 4,300 troops. Are you guys sure that Russia said that? I don't think that Russia admitted that. Ukrainian ambassador speaking right now. All right, let's hear what he has to say. At this point, they're just trying to offer as much like material support as possible without directly sending troops.
Let's just bring.
Or even when they do directly send troops, it's not like an official formation, but rather a battalion of people that independently decided to go and fight in Ukraine, because they can't officially send fucking troops, because that would mean an act of war. That would be a declaration of war against Russia. Need for denazification is totally fake, right? Dude, if you want to denazify a country, you don't fucking go and like there. No, that's bullshit. Like, are there Nazis in the Ukrainian National Guard? Absolutely. Are there like neo-Nazis? Are there a lot of nationalist forces that are growing? Sure. Does that justify full-scale invasion and bombing fucking Kyiv? No, absolutely not. Not up to. It's just ridiculous. It's completely fucking ridiculous. It's just like Putin is using what all like liberal imperialist powers have used in the past to act like what he is doing currently is his conquest is justifiable. That's it. That's it. That's the whole point. Like, you're never gonna hear me say like, oh, it's not like the Azov battalion is not a big deal, or like that nationalism is not like a fucking, you're being crazy, like you're doing Russian propaganda. Like, I'm not one of those people that says shit like that. It is true. There are straight up fucking Nazis, or neo-Nazis rather, and those affiliated with them even in the government, not like a lot, but certainly in the government, despite the fact that their party, Svoboda, is not nationally popular at all. I think they got like 3%. However, you know what actually fucking legitimizes Nazis? A massive imperial power in that fucking, in your backyard, coming into your country and murking your people, okay? So you're not denazifying Ukraine, you're Nazifying Ukraine, maybe, okay? You're making it harder for leftist Ukrainians, anarchist Ukrainians who have fought historically with the fucking Azov battalion and other like violent hooligans who have now gained prominence as a consequence of the 8 years in fucking Donbass to gain even further prominence and have a strategic foothold within the Ukrainian government in the future. You mean against? What did I say? Did I say something wrong? Sorry. I meant like the anarchists that are fighting against the Ukrainian anarchists and Ukrainian leftists and trade unionists that are fighting against the football hooligan turned paramilitary Nazis and neo-Nazis.
3 months says hi.
Okay, Russia is not imperialist. They're irredentist. How about that? Is that a better argument for you? Does that make you happy, Mr. Semantics? Yes, there you go. Okay, yeah, they are. They're irredentist, okay?
20 months and I don't have a funny message. I'll try again at 21.
The latest satellite imagery that we have received. This is coming from Maxar Satellite Imagery. They are a private US space technology company, and they have been tracking the buildup of Russian forces for the last few weeks. These images that they have released appear to show a very large deployment of Russian ground forces. You can see lots and lots of military vehicles there, hundreds of them in a convoy. Now, this is apparently to the northeast of the Ukrainian city of Kyiv and moving in the direction of Kyiv.
Wait, what is this? Saying that all of Ukraine will become a Nazi because of this is not a real argument. It's like in Full Metal Alchemist when everyone's blaming the Ishvalan for being violent when it's not all of them. Wait, no, dude. What the fuck? Ukraine Ishvalan? No, I'm not saying that Ukraine will become Nazi. I'm saying that historically speaking, when an imperial power, when a fucking large power encroaches on your borders and destroys your fucking country, people become more nationalist, okay? My fear, not that it fucking matters at this time right now, is that that might happen as well, but we don't know, so shut the fuck up, please. Anarchists are literally fighting alongside Nazis in Ukraine, or at least they tried to. Yeah, you know why, dude? You know why the anarchist battalions that used to fucking fight the Azov battalion are now turning in and joining forces with them? Because there's a larger fucking, there's a larger problem at play. That's what I've been saying. This is literally proof of what I am saying. I don't know if you're showing this as a fucking dunk or whatever, but this is exactly what I'm literally saying. This is historically exactly what happens. What do I always talk about with like respect to the Middle East? People are like, "Oh, Middle East, they're so conservative. They're so conservative." Yeah, dumbass. Who do you think ISIS is throwing off fucking buildings when they're throwing off gay people off of buildings? When ISIS is throwing off gay people off buildings. Who are they throwing off? They're throwing off not gay Americans. They're throwing off other gay Muslims, dumbass. Okay? And the whole point is they would be able to fight back against reactionary forces internally.
I've learned a lot from you over the years.
Consequently, some of people have converted to the right-wing politics. Exactly. That's what I mean. The issue is people have no way to fucking fight back internally against reactionary forces if a country has no sovereignty from an imperial power. The argument makes no sense because there aren't Nazis in Afghanistan and that country got devastated. Dude, I'm banning this fucking idiotic weeb, dude. Just because you're a fucking stupid weeb who keeps saying this is just like Full Metal Alchemist. You do not deserve to speak in this chat, you stupid fucking weeb. Holy shit.
Really
Just like
appreciate
my
the fact we live
anime.
in a world where I can get news like this.
This is just
Thanks,
like my
Hasanabi.
anime. Massive Russian convoy seen outside of Kyiv.
We understand that this position is about 40 miles away, which is about 64 kilometres away. And this convoy extends for more than 3 miles in length, about 5 kilometres long. And from the images, it's believed that it has contained fuel, logistics.
Them is a solid argument. You just invaded his privacy. What? No, dude. The fucking argument is idiotic. Afghanistan didn't have Nazis, but they still had reactionary forces. Not every fucking reactionary force has to be a literal Nazi or a neo-Nazi. They can be the fucking Mujahideen, which are also hyper-conservative, fundamentalist, Wahhabist Muslim extremists, okay? So some of them are, actually. Not all of them. But that's a great example because you have different coalitions and different factions within the Mujahideen that normally would be fighting amongst one another to win out in their endless effort for territorial control, but then they all get together and fight back against the USSR, which was the encroaching power in that circumstance, okay? Or they get together and they fight back against America, and they form whichever one of the most reactionary forces is the one that fucking controls everything, becomes the Taliban in that situation, okay? That's just how it works. It doesn't have to be, they don't have to literally be Nazis.
Armoured vehicles, and it is travelling along the Shevchenka road, moving towards Kyiv. So just to reiterate, these images have come to us from Maxar, which is a private US space technology company which has been monitoring the movement of Russian troops in Ukraine. Other satellite imagery that we've seen today shows Antonov Airport.
Ukraine don't have a means to blow the convoy? No, dude. Convoy bir bayraktar saldırırsa nasıl olurdu ya? Turks are so funny. They're like,